Hey everybody, it's Kenny Cummins here, Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm very excited to be joined with a lovely special guest all the way from Florida. Very talented, up-and-coming wrestler. A name that you need to keep an eye on for many years to come. Of course, I'm talking to Miss Kaci Lennox. She is with me right now. How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I mean, dang.
So
I feel special.
hey, I feel good. I feel real good because I've been a fan of yours for a couple of years. I see you on the come up, making a name for yourself, and you're definitely on your way. You definitely. I feel like Booker T right now. This woman right here, she got potential,
Thank you.
So I'm very excited to have you on. So, what got you started in becoming a wrestler? How did it all start off for you?
So I started watching wrestling when I was 10 years old, back in Baltimore. My brother actually got me started watching wrestling. My brother started watching wrestling with me. So 10 years ago, so 2002, I went to my very first event back at First Mariner Arena on April, I want to say it was the 12th. But that's what really got me into it. Like, just my brother had it on TV, and I just sat there and watched it with him.
Gotta love the sibling get together. That is so cute. I just wish my sisters were passionate into wrestling as you are with your brother, but to each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
They like soap opera, and I try to tell them, like, wrestling, it's got a soap opera feel to it. If you could just ignore the tights and the outlandish clothes and stuff, you might like it. And I tried to convince them, but they were like, "Nah, we ain't trying to watch that."
Yeah, but man, soap operas too, so I see where they're coming from.
Yeah, so I love them, but we still trying to work that out, trying to. So as far now, who are some of the wrestlers in particular that you looked at as a young fan growing up that made you say, I want to be a wrestler? Who stood out to you the most growing up?
So not only thing I remember, but the thing I remember most from the first live event that I went to was actually a bikini contest. It was Tori Wilson and like Dawn Marie and Sable and people like them. And I think I just remember that so much, and it made me want to do wrestling so much was because of the reaction that they got. And it was kind of just like, these are strong women in this ring, and they're getting this reaction from everyone in the crowd. But another person is Stephanie McMahon, because she's a boss. Like, she's a legit boss. She's outspoken. She knows her role. She's good in the ring. I mean, she literally just had a match, and it's pretty amazing. But yeah, she's a boss. That's why I like her.
Boss, Stephanie has so much command, and she gets quite the reaction, and the fact that her arm survived by Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania last month, I mean, I honestly thought Wanda was just going to take that. I get you want to make a first impression, very good impression. And I would say to Wanda's credit, she not only she took the punishment, but she dished it out as well. She even did a Hurricanrana. I'm like, oh my Lord. Like,
yeah, I know. Stephanie pulled out some moves that I was like, oh my goodness, girl, you're killing it right now.
Yeah, like, and Stephanie, I love Tori Wilson, Dawn Marie. That was quite a rivalry back in the ruthless
that was a really
aggression.
good one.
Very, very tense.
Yeah.
Guys, I will say on behalf of some of the fellas, very thirsty. Seeing them two going at it. Um, I'm not ashamed to say that whatsoever. Like I respect the ladies, but I'm just saying from their characters, what you see on TV,
Yeah.
the the imagination kicked in. I'm just saying. So now for you, Casey, you've been wrestling for quite some time now. You're making a name for yourself, like I've been saying.
Hmm.
How do you feel about your growth as a wrestler, as far as having matches, interacting with fans, and the training and everything? Like, how do you feel about your development as a wrestler right now, as far as things that you good at and things that even you look at that you need to work on more?
I definitely feel as though I am extremely confident now. Not like extremely like crazy, like I'm the best in the world, but from where I started 2 years ago to where I am now, I've definitely seen an increase in my confidence and an increase in knowing what I can do and what I can do best and what I shouldn't do. But I would definitely say like that's the biggest thing that I've seen changed, like in myself. I'm like confident in the ring, outside of the ring. So that's a good thing in life though, to be confident.
That is absolutely true. You in the entertainment business, you gotta go on that stage being confident. Like you gotta feel
Mhm.
like you own the stage, own the crowd, make them interested in you, make them emotionally invested in you. And anyone, whether it's a wrestler or a musician or comedian, that's willing to perform in front of people, that takes guts, and it's not for everybody. It's people will look at that crowd for a split second, be like, "Oh my God, what I'm gonna do? What am I gonna
Yeah.
say?" Like you can't end up
And that's
you can't end up looking like B Rabbit on 8 Mile and just froze. That's a no no.
um, that's exactly how I used to feel. Like I wanted to remember everything, make sure I did everything right, and then I feel like that's where you mess up sometimes, and you try to just make sure everything is perfect. You can't go through life that way. You can't go through wrestling that way because everything's gonna get messed up sometimes. Like nothing's ever gonna be 100% perfect. Nothing's gonna be to the T. So once you just like get used to that, like I want to say reaction, but it's not reaction. Once you get used to like that mentality, that everything's not going to be perfect and things might go wrong, like that's when it gets easier.
Very, very true. It definitely takes time to get comfortable, but as time goes by, as time progresses, like you said, confidence definitely goes a long way, and that makes the bookers and promoters have faith in you and keep
Yeah.
booking you week after week after week. Only the strong survive, as people will say.
Yeah.
So, I see a lot of talent in Florida. A lot of talent, women wrestlers, like Ariel Blake, Selena De La Renta. I know
Hmm.
she's recovering from an injury right now. Like, how's it feel just with women wrestling coming so far, more opportunities on the indies and in the pros? As a wrestler yourself, how do you feel about the continuing growth of women wrestling as it is right now?
I think it's amazing because like back in the day, like women's wrestling wasn't, it wasn't the best thing or the hottest thing, but I feel like we've progressed so much beyond what it was years ago. So it's really nice. Like I've gotten to work people like Ariel Monroe, Ava Story, Santana Garrett. I'm getting ready to work Jordan Grace in a few weeks. I've worked Renee Michelle and MJ Jenkins. So it's stuff like that. Like these are like amazing people that are just in Florida and just like in the area that I get to work. So it's crazy that there's way more people like on the West Coast up north. There's so many females that are like amazing right now, and that are killing it out here. So I think it's good that there's so many females. Women empowerment, man.
I just love what I see right now, and fans are just supporting it a lot more, and you get talent out there that can actually perform, and
Yeah.
on a week to week basis. So when you got that going for you, fans are gonna keep supporting it. They're gonna be on social media. You're gonna hear the "This is awesome" chants, and I feel like for WWE, they come so far when I've heard this chant a couple of times, but they come a long way when you got the crowd chanting women's wrestling. Like
Oh yeah, of course.
in all my years of watching WWE, I've never heard that chant until like Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, Bailey came along. Those four ladies definitely led the way, and then you have Paige prior to her injuries, of course. You have Nia Jax and Carmella, and then for Impact, they got a very good division themselves from Sue Young and Rosemary. They just signed Tessa Blanchard, for crying out loud. That woman is on a whole nother level. And then the indies, Shine Wrestling, WSU, Shimmer, Rise, Sabotage. I mean, women wrestling is everywhere now. Like,
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And we're doing all the good stuff like the guys. Like, as women, we can do everything the guys can do. And I think people are just starting to, not just starting to realize it. I think they may have known that before. It was just not portrayed. It wasn't given that spotlight, So I think that now that it's given that spotlight, like, people are actually opening their eyes to the fact that women can do everything a man can do.
And for women in a male dominant sport, you gotta work twice as hard. You gotta have that mentality. And guys, there are some guys that they're alright. I like the guys. I respect the fellas, but I do love me some women wrestling. I'm passionate about it, and just to see it keeps getting better and better. Sky's the limit for all of you, and I look forward to seeing more women getting on board, and just you inspiring young ladies, young girls. Like, man, like that's gotta be big. That's a big deal. When young fans look at you and just want, I think I want to be a wrestler. I want to be a Kaci Lennox one day.
Yeah.
So that's pretty incredible. So for you, Kaci, why don't you go ahead and promote some of your upcoming shows that fans out there need to keep an eye on?
I have a bunch of stuff coming up. I actually have tomorrow in Fort Lauderdale. I have Fighting Evolution Wrestling. Next week after that, I'm going to be in Ohio, which is my match with Jordan Grace. I've got some Ocala shows, and then I'm going to be in Alabama. Sorry, not Ohio. I'm going to be in Alabama, and I'm going to be in Georgia. So if you're in any of those states, come check me out. And I'll be posting all my dates on my page. So you can check that out at Miss Kaci Lennox, MissKaciLennox.
Speaking of Kaci Lennox, I do like the name, by the way. People got stories behind their names and things like that. How did you end up becoming Kaci Lennox?
Well, Lennox is my cousin's name. So I asked my uncle if I could use that because I wanted to use something that was family related or something that had meaning to me. Like, that's how I want to do. That's how I am just in life. That's how Charm City came along, because I'm from Baltimore, and Baltimore is known as Charm City. But Lennox is my cousin's name. And Kaci, weird story. I don't know if it's weird or not, but I just searched on Google names that go with Lennox, and Kaci came up. So I liked it. I was going to use Cassandra before Kaci, and Kaci's just a short version of Cassandra anyway. So I think it works. I think it's a win-win.
And yeah, and that's something from announcers can announce fresh out the bat
Yeah.
with Kaci Lennox. That's that's definitely got a nice ring to it. I think I should have been a ring announcer, but I ain't got that enthusiasm. I guess I'll stick to the radio part. But not only that, I've also seen you on a website, New England Female Wrestling. That is a custom wrestling website in which fans, that's why I said it, fans can book matches. We don't always get the matchups on the indie shows, but you can definitely get them on websites like NEFW. What's that experience like, going through companies like that and finding out like how do fans want to book certain matches? Like, how do you feel about that?
I feel like it's fun. That's another place where I get to just work people that are from all over the world. We just had a custom taping, not with NEFW, but with Lexi Fife. And she brought in people from England, from other countries. So it's just like a fun experience to be able to meet those people and to be able to work with them, and you can always just learn different ways to do things in customs. The matches are just so fun, and it's cool to see what fans want from our actual matches.
Yes.
It's fun to see what they enjoy.
Shout out to Lexi Fife, pioneer in women's wrestling, and she's become a pioneer with not only she owns Shimmer and she owns Shine. That's just extraordinary. So those shows have been going on for years. Shimmer's been going on longer, but Shine, I think they just had their 50th show recently. So
they did.
So that was that's pretty amazing. So props to Lexi Fife and Kaci. I want to thank you so much for taking the time. I truly appreciate it. Everybody go check out Kaci and her upcoming shows. She's on social media. Just look for Kaci, as in Kaci Lennox, Lennox, as in Malcolm X. And keep an eye on this lady. She's on her way, like I said. So stay tuned for her and her adventures. That is wrestling. Support indie wrestling. Support your local
women's
wrestlers.
Wrestling.
Support women's wrestling as well. And thank you again. Thank you so much for your time. Support all wrestling. Thank you so much for your time. Continued success. And you got any final words to your fans out there and anyone else out there?
Yeah, just thank you guys so much for all of your continued support. Thank you for telling the promotions that you want to see me so I can get out to these different states and come work for you guys and show you all of my talent. And just make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. It's definitely Miss Kaci Lennox on all three. But honestly, just thank you for the support, and I can't wait to show you guys all my tricks. I'm just getting started. This isn't even the best Kaci.
And I'm
about to get better and better.
And I just want to say to my friends in Kentucky, the bookers and promoters, I need some. We need some Kaci Lennox up here. So whatever you got to do. Email her, get to know the woman, book her. Or better yet, I do go to Girl Fight Wrestling. I know you go there. So I go to the ones at Jeffersonville, Indiana. I don't know how far you travel or whatever. They usually do their shows. They usually do their shows on Tuesday nights. Not
Okay.
maybe once a month or whatever, but they just started doing shows there, so definitely want to keep an eye on that for sure. But
Yeah, definitely reach out to them.
so thank you for your time, Kaci, and this is going to conclude the interview. Thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget Triple Threat Wrestling Radio's live on Thursdays from 7 to 8 p.m. on tmvcafe.com. Thank you everyone for listening. I'll see you next time.